Joy, play, and creativity. These aren't just hobbies. They give life meaning. For me, dolls have always been more than just objects. They are companions, identity markers, and tiny vessels of artistic expression. Becoming a doll artist wasn't a straightforward path, and it certainly wasn't the most conventional. But it was the path that allowed me to stay true to myself. Today, I want to share my deeply personal journey, how I cultivate my passion, the life challenges I faced, and the lesson I've learned along the way. Ever since I was little, dolls have been a source of joy and comfort. They weren't just toys, they were a way for me to express creativity. I would style their hair, dress them up, and imagine entire worlds for them. Looking back, I think I was instinctively drawn to their therapeutic aspect. There was something magical about transforming a doll, breathing life into it with tiny details, creating a story behind its expression. Even then, I knew that art in some form was going to be part of my life. Growing up in the 90s, I always knew I wanted to be an artist or designer. I was embarrassingly bad at math, but I was always proud of my artistic talent. There were times when I obsessively arranged my colored pencils and kept drawing to the point I almost forgot to do my homework. In class, a few teachers would tell me to stop doodling in my textbooks because I didn't seem to be focused. At home, I was deeply inspired by my sister's collection of shoujo manga and my brother's video games. My after-school routine was, if I didn't have ballet class, I'd go straight home to draw, watch Sailor Moon, or play Japanese role-playing games like Chrono Trigger. I'd also watch music videos and observe the motion design on MTV. In this sense, art, dance, fashion, especially dance costumes, music, anime, video games, and of course dolls, shaped a huge part of my upbringing. In 2003, I migrated with my parents to the US. At age 16, I had to adjust quickly, make new friends, focus on schoolwork, and eventually help my parents by getting a part-time job. It was an extremely tough year as I lost both my older brother and my grandma shortly after we moved. While dealing with the immense grief, all we knew at that time was how to survive, how to keep going one day at a time. With each hardship, the dream of becoming an artist slowly began to slip from my vision. That was until I met my former girlfriend in high school. She believed in me and convinced me that if I worked hard enough, I could earn a scholarship to the prestigious Art Center College of Design. So I took the leap. I spent the next 3.5 years pouring myself into building a portfolio. During this time, my mom was diagnosed with late-stage breast cancer and had to undergo chemotherapy. Thankfully, it was a successful operation. Knowing I had to fully focus on art college, I made the hard decision to leave dancing behind. No more dance classes or performances. It was time to buckle up and face the notoriously intense projects at Art Center. But the struggles for me and my family didn't stop there. In my final year of college, my mom was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease and had to temporarily rely on a wheelchair. Even with the support from my dad and sister, I felt completely overwhelmed, trying to juggle my graduation projects while managing her hospital visits. After graduating, I faced a familiar dilemma: income anxiety versus following my true passion. By this time, I had gained experience through internship and freelancing, and eventually landed a full-time job at a reputable advertising agency, working on campaigns for major brands. The stability was nice, but I often asked myself, does this truly fulfill me? Almost every evening after full-time work, I felt pulled towards my personal projects. I started creating fashion illustrations at night, and they began to get featured on various fashion blogs. That's when everything started to shift. I met my current husband in 2012 when I was 24, not long after graduating. We had a long-distance relationship before deciding to get married, quit my job, and move so we could be together. Moving to London opened up new creative possibilities. During this time, I experimented with different artistic fields and focused heavily on my fashion illustration career. Since 2014, I've had the chance to be part of several fashion illustration exhibitions and collaborated with brands like Gucci. My work was also featured in publications such as Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, Architectural Digest, and many more. On top of that, for about 2.5 years, I also taught as a visiting tutor at the London College of Fashion, where I prepared presentations, led art workshops, and reviewed student portfolios. I experimented, learned, and explored different styles, but somehow something still felt missing. I spent hours researching and eventually stumbled upon Pullip and Blythe dolls. I was instantly captivated. Soon after, I discovered dolly vloggers like Omocha Crush, Scarlet Bee, and many others, whose videos helped me decide which doll to choose as my very first. What started as collecting quickly turned into customizing Pullip dolls for fun in my free time. I was delighted with the reception and even started getting commissions from collectors, including Omocha Crush herself, who has been incredibly supportive in my early journey. Fast forward to 2017, I made the decision to start focusing on creating custom art dolls when I didn't have any fashion illustration commissions. Then in 2018, I decided to design my own BJD, working with wonderful 3D artists Lua and eventually Nina in 2021. Each learning process deepened my understanding of doll makeup, styling, photography, and character creation. But it wasn't always easy. Carving and sanding Blythe dolls, for example, caused me a lot of neck pain, which is why I stopped doing them. Time surely flies. In 2024, to celebrate my 200th custom Pullip and Omocha Crush's milestone, she reached out with a special commission to bring Omocha to life. Her only request was for the doll to have long brunette hair. For the concept, I combined our shared love for pastel green and pink, along with her affection for cats. I then collaborated with Craftsman Doll to create her outfit set. Here's the final result. Thank you again, Omocha Crush, for this celebratory commission. One of the biggest challenges I face as a doll artist isn't just creating the art itself, it's managing the business side. Learning how to balance creativity with organization, marketing, and finances took time. It's been a journey of ups and downs with plenty of mistakes and hard-earned lessons along the way. On top of that, there are practical challenges that are easy to overlook from the outside, like keeping track of supplies, sourcing materials, and managing taxes. Shipping parcels comes with its own sets of issues such as delays and custom fees. These things are often out of our control, but they still impact the customer experience and my peace of mind. Then there's the world of social media. It can be a powerful tool for sharing and connecting, but it can also feel overwhelming. The pressure to keep up, stay visible, and comparison can chip away at your creative joy. The key for me has been learning to stay within my lane without losing myself in trends or external validation. Above all the challenges, I think one of the hardest struggles for any artist is when the work we create doesn't sell right away, or sometimes doesn't sell at all or for a long time. It's a feeling that's highly relatable for many creatives. Anxiety starts to creep in, and the inner doubt becomes the harshest critic. I've definitely been there. When you pour your heart and soul into something and it feels like it's not being received the way you hope, you can start questioning yourself. This is something every artist faces at some point. Sometimes the market just isn't ready for your work, or it takes time for people to discover it. It doesn't mean your work isn't worthwhile, or that you aren't talented. If creating still brings you joy, keep at it. And if it doesn't anymore, either you take a break or it's okay to change direction. You're allowed to evolve as a human being. As if managing a small business isn't enough, there's also the nuanced challenge of how femininity is perceived in the art world, a layered and complex topic in itself. Doll making and decorative art, like many traditionally quote-unquote feminine crafts, historically often seen as less serious or technical. But the intricacy, skill, and dedication within this community are undeniable. There are so many amazing talented artists and makers in the doll world. I hope to play a small part in celebrating and challenging the outdated notion that craft isn't a real art. Eventually, I'd love to create a deep dive video exploring why dolls matter and the deeper value of arts and crafts. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about culture, identity, and personal expression. Dolls hold a special place in the heart as they can be powerful tools for healing, and each piece represents a story. Amid all of these challenges, one of the most personal has been staying true to my artistic voice. I've learned that despite external pressures, I need to honor my own perspective. I remember freelancing with Disney consumer products back in LA, where the creative director wanted my female characters to look quote-unquote happier. But I've always found beauty in melancholy. To me, melancholy has depth. It invites us to pause, observe, and feel more deeply. I've learned to embrace that in my work even when it goes against the grain of industry expectations. Sometimes our life or creative journey takes unexpected turns, but if we listen closely, these detours often guide us towards where we're meant to be. The doll world is something I never would have imagined as my full-time career, yet here I am navigating and evolving my art practice along the way. I love being the artist, the designer, the stylist, the illustrator, the photographer, and despite the challenges, the manager of my small business. I've also found my way back to dancing, performing, jamming, and losing myself in rhythms with my jazz and house dance community. Moving to my favorite music just makes me feel so alive. Over the years, I've come to realize that authenticity is one of my core values. I have deep respect for artists who infuse their personal observations, unique ideas, and genuine creativity into their work. While none of us can claim to be 100% original, I truly appreciate when an artist is open about their influences and gives credit where it's due. I think true artistry isn't just about the surface or aesthetics, it's about intention, personal voice, and bringing a unique perspective to the world. Looking back, going through these tough experiences has strengthened my resilience, just like going to a gym for a tiring workout session can help strengthen our muscles. However, I'm also aware that pushing too far can lead to burnout. This realization had led me to understand that whilst ambition is important, it shouldn't come at the cost of our mental and physical health. As I grow, I try to honor my boundaries and become better at advocating for myself. I've learned to ask myself questions like, does this feel right? Is this just another should? Does this align with my core values and priorities? These reflections have helped shape how I run my doll art business, not just in how I work, but in how I define success on my own terms. Now I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever struggled with staying true to your vision? Or has art or doll making helped you through tough times? Let's chat in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch and listen to my personal story. It means a lot to me to share this with you. As always, I truly appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!